This foundation stick costs only €6, but is it any good? Let's find out. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Carmel, and in today's video we are testing and reviewing this brand new foundation stick from Essence. It comes in 43 different shades. It's made in Italy and it only costs €6. I've been putting this to the test for the past week and I have some thoughts. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. So let's just jump in and see what this foundation claims to be. So as I mentioned, this foundation stick retails for €6, and for that you get 10 grams of product. So it claims to be an ultra creamy formula which glides on effortlessly, blending seamlessly for a smooth and even complexion. Its natural matte finish leaves you with an effortlessly radiant finish. It's enriched with skin-loving ingredients and it nourishes whilst providing a flawless finish. And of course, because it's Essence, it's cruelty-free and vegan friendly. As with any complexion product, I pop them into insidecoda.com, which checks the ingredients, and there doesn't seem to be anything problematic in here. So it is alcohol free, which I know is such a big deal for a lot of people. And actually, to be honest, my skin has become a lot more sensitive in recent years, so it's actually quite important to me right now. It doesn't claim to be fragrance free. There is a little bit of a scent of it, but you have to really look for it. It's only because I'm trying to identify a fragrance. I don't know what it is that I can smell, but I can smell something. So as I said, comes in 43 shades, which is crazy, especially for Essence. Essence and Catrice have always been, well, notoriously known for their poor shade ranges. But oh my goodness, times are changing, the tables are turning, and to still produce a product for €6, other companies need to take note. So typical foundation stick packaging, twist up applicator. I'd seen online a few people saying that the product had smushed into the cap. I've not had that problem. It is a very nice and emollient kind of texture, and you're probably thinking, wow, that shade is way too light for you. And yes, I did pick up this shade, which is 160. I'll talk about that in a moment. I picked it up before I went away on holiday, so I have got a tan, but my hands are way more tanned than what my face is. But I found that there was quite a big jump between some of the shades. So I went for 160, which is described as a light to medium shade with a rosy peach undertone. Now, I don't have a rosy peach undertone. I have a neutral olive, but there was nothing around that range, the light to medium range, that seemed to match my skin tone. This was definitely the best. And because I'm a neutral olive, I can kind of get away with pinky tones or yellow tones. You know, sometimes it's quite fortunate to be a neutral. So again, that is the shade 160. And I'll swatch it on my jaw and neck so that you can see the actual shade match. Just quickly about my skin before we get started. So first of all, my skin has been absolutely atrocious recently, and I will say that I woke up this morning and this is the best that my skin has looked in weeks, because I've been really suffering badly with my rosacea. I'll pop a picture on the screen for you to see. So it's been quite hard for me to test products actually when I've been having this rosacea flare up. And it's been quite dry while I've been testing out this foundation as well. But just in general, I obviously have visible hyperpigmentation. I do have rosacea and I have dry skin. Okay, think Sahara Desert dry, and I have mature skin, so I'm almost 43. I usually prefer a light to medium coverage foundation with a glowy finish. So I was a little bit apprehensive about this foundation because it claims to give a matte finish. A natural matte is what it claims to give. So in terms of how I've prepped my face, I have just used my normal skin prep. I don't normally use a specific primer. So I've got no other makeup on my face apart from my eyes and my eyebrows. I don't have anything else on my actual face. I'm going to apply with my new e.l.f. Stain and Tint blending brush as well, because I've been kind of liking this brush and it was only €6, which is as much as this foundation. So I'll just swatch it down here and I'll just blend this bit with my fingers, and you'll see that it just kind of blends in. See how it's just blended in with my neck, and that's a really good indicator that you've got the right foundation shade. So maybe I have more rosy tones in my skin than what I think. I don't know. Sometimes I do wonder about my skin, seriously. Obviously, you know, I have, looks like spots, looks like acne, but it's not, it's rosacea. So, but the texture has kind of gone, which is a blessing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a few stripes because I'll tell you this is a very, very light coverage foundation. So you're not going to get a ton of coverage right off the bat. So I'm going in with my e.l.f. brush, and I found that the best way to apply this is to kind of just push it in. Well, that's how I would prefer to apply all of my foundations. But if I was to take, for example, my Dior foundation stick, which is my favorite foundation stick, I can just spread that over my face in any way that I want. Okay, it's just super creamy. And this is also super creamy, but it's not as emollient as what the foundation stick from Dior is. I just want to apologize for the change in sound for the next minute or so. My mic was dying and I did not realize, so there was a buzzing in the background. So I had to edit that out. It does go back to normal shortly, so just accept my apologies for that. So I'm just going to add more. This is definitely a very buildable foundation for sure. And you can see how it's just meshing with my skin. I think you'll be able to see that it's not flat matte at all, is it? So here I'm just covering up the hyperpigmentation on my forehead and just building up this product really nicely. Okay, so that's just one side done. And that's with nothing. Let's do a few stripes. So again, you can just do one really light layer of this and it will just be like a tint to the skin, but you can do what I'm doing and you can build it up. And I feel like if you left this to sit for a little minute, it would give you a little bit more coverage. So again, can you see how I'm just like pushing that in? And here is a little before and after of the foundation. So let me just go and finish off the rest of my makeup and then we'll see how this foundation stick is sitting. So everything that I've used on my face today is of course from the drugstore, and I'll link everything down in the description box below. So I haven't used any powder today, only underneath my eyes, and I just used a tiny little amount of this Wet n Wild. I don't feel the need to powder with this foundation at all, but of course if you have more oily skin you might feel the need. If you look at my skin, I don't think it's giving me a matte finish. I think it's giving me a really healthy, natural, luminous finish to the skin. So I just went outside and took a little bit of footage of my face so that you can see it in the daylight. I feel like I've tested this at a time in my skin's life where it's been really tough, it's been really dry. So I would say that if you have extreme dry skin or if you have extreme oily skin, I'm not sure that you would be able to make this work. So I found that in the really, really dry areas of my face, the bits that are kind of coming away, peeling, purging, this foundation just sits on top of those areas. However, in the places that my skin is normal, it's actually looked beautiful, and it does look beautiful. I think because it is quite an emollient product, if you have super oily skin, it could slip and slide off your face. And I think the other negative, it's not a negative for me, but it might be for you, if you are looking for a complete matte foundation, which this claims to be. Well, it claims to be a natural matte. I'm not sure about that. I mean, look at my face. I mean, I think it depends on the base products that you use. So if you use a matte primer, I think you'll see that in the finish. If you use a glowy base, I think you're going to see that too. So I think it does depend on your base. It depends on how you've primed your skin. This is an absolutely beautiful foundation. So I think it's extremely flattering, despite the fact that I've been going through a tough time with my skin, despite the fact that I've tested it at a time when my skin is not normal, it's not performing how it normally does. I think it looks gorgeous. It's very flattering. It doesn't sit sit into lines, it doesn't emphasize pores, it doesn't slip around and slide on my face. Feels incredibly lightweight. I mean, it's like you have nothing on your face. And I feel like the longevity is wonderful with this product. I've worn this for 12, 13 hour days, and although at the end of the day it doesn't look perfect, it doesn't look a mess either. I think it just gradually fades as the day goes on, but that's perfect. It doesn't fade away in patches or, you know, sit into certain areas or fade away unevenly. It just still looks nice at the end of the day. And I feel like with the coverage of this foundation, it's very customizable. So if you just want sheer coverage, you can get that. And if you want to build it up to a medium coverage like I have now, I think you can get that too. I think how you apply this is very important. In my experience, the best way to apply this is with a brush and to kind of push it in, stipple it in to the skin rather than kind of swipe it and move it around. You get a much more even and nice coverage. These shades are fairly flexible, so I wouldn't be too worried if you think you've chosen the wrong shade. Because it's a light coverage product, I think you can get away with choosing the wrong shade. And yeah, I'm so excited to see how this performs when my skin is normal, when my skin is how I'm used to seeing it. I think it will be the most perfect foundation for the summer because it's so weightless, because it's so customizable in coverage. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And can I just say, I think we really need to commend Essence. I think we really need to acknowledge what they've achieved here. So they've achieved producing a product that has 43 shades, which is so expensive to do. That's why brands don't do it, because it's so expensive. 43 different shades. It's made in Italy. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it only costs €6, $7, £5. That is affordable. That is a true drugstore brand. That is a brand who is putting the consumer first. Okay, they're not thinking greed, they're not hiking their prices, and that's not saying that they never will, but they are definitely putting you first. And I think they've smashed it with this. I didn't think I would like this. I really didn't. But I love it. So do let me know what you think about this foundation stick. Have you tried it, or are you planning on picking it up? I would be really interested to hear your thoughts and to hear what your experiences have been. Let me know everything down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, take care and bye for now.